Aspen Ridge was a harsh mistress. Winters were long and unforgiving. But the sprawling ranchlands had been Jack Henderson's home for as long as he could remember. Jack, a man hardened by years of fighting fires, had a soft spot for animals. He'd rescued strays since he was a boy, earning him the nickname Guardian Angel from the locals. They knew if an animal was in trouble, Jack would be there. He had a heart of gold. His retirement from the Aspen Ridge Fire Department hadn't slowed him down. He traded his fireman's coat for a warm rancher's jacket, but kept his vigilant spirit. His days were spent tending to his small herd of cattle, chopping firewood, and enjoying the company of his loyal canine companion, Gus. Gus was a German Shepherd mix, a rescue, of course, with a heart as big as the Colorado sky. The harsh winters never bothered Jack. He found a certain tranquility in the silence of a snow-covered landscape. Each snowflake that fell seemed to carry with it a story, a secret whispered by the wind. Little did he know this winter. The wind had a tale unlike any other to tell, and Jack, the guardian angel of Aspen Ridge, was about to find himself at the heart of it. The blizzard hit Aspen Ridge with the fury of a wild beast. Snow hammered against the windows of Jack's ranch house, each gust of wind howling like a banshee. Visibility was reduced to mere feet. It was the kind of storm that sent shivers down even the bravest soul's spine. Jack, used to the temperamental nature of the mountains, went about his morning chores with a sense of urgency. He bundled up in layers, his trusty Stetson pulled low over his brow, and braved the elements. First the cattle. He needed to make sure they had enough food and water. Then a quick check on the fences, ensuring the wind hadn't torn them down. As he trudged through the knee-deep snow, his breath forming white puffs in the icy air, a faint whinny reached his ears. He stopped, his head turning towards the sound. It came again, weak and desperate, carried on the wind. Jack knew that sound. It was a horse, and it was in trouble. Forgetting his own discomfort, he started walking towards the sound, his pace quickening with each step. He couldn't see more than a few feet in front of him, but the sound of the horse's laboured breathing spurred him on. He pushed through the blizzard, his heart pounding in his chest, a sense of dread creeping up his spine. The storm was bad, but for a horse to be caught in this, it would be fighting for its life. The swirling snow parted for a moment, and Jack saw it. A horse, a magnificent chestnut mare, lay collapsed in the snowdrift. She was half buried, her coat frosted with ice, her chest rising and falling with each shallow breath. She was close to giving up. "Easy, girl, easy," Jack soothed, his voice barely audible above the wind's roar. He approached slowly, careful not to startle the animal. Her eyes, wide with fear and exhaustion, met his. He saw the flicker of hope in them, the desperate plea for help. Without hesitation, Jack sprang into action. He knew time was running out. Every second counted. He quickly assessed the situation. The mare was severely hypothermic. He needed to get her out of the snow and get her warm, but the ranch was too far. Thinking on his feet, he remembered an old line shack a few hundred yards away, used by his grandfather in the old days. It was a long shot, but it was their only chance. "Come on, girl," he coaxed, his strong arms wrapping around the mare's neck. He used his weight to help her find her feet, his heart sinking as he felt how cold she was. She was weak, barely able to stand, but she was a fighter. She wanted to live. The old line shack was small and draughty, but it offered shelter from the biting wind. Jack managed to guide the mare inside, the effort leaving him breathless and sweat clinging to his brow. He worked quickly, rubbing her down with straw, trying to generate some warmth. As he peeled away the layers of snow and ice from her coat, his hand brushed against something hard and stiff strapped to the underside of her belly. Curiosity piqued. Jack unbuckled the straps. It was an old leather satchel, weathered and worn. He carefully laid it on the ground, his fingers fumbling with the buckles. He had a strange feeling in the pit of his stomach, a sense of foreboding mixed with anticipation. As he opened the satchel, his breath caught in his throat. Inside, nestled amongst yellowed parchment and faded maps, were stacks of old currency, foreign bills he couldn't quite place. The documents, handwritten in a language he didn't recognize, were brittle with age. He carefully unfolded one, his eyes widening as he noticed dates and names that sent a chill down his spine. The Cold War, espionage, code names. What was this horse doing carrying a satchel full of what looked like Cold War secrets? The weight of his discovery settled heavily on his chest. This was bigger than him, bigger than Aspen Ridge. This was history, buried under a blanket of snow and forgotten by time until now. The storm raged on for 2 more days. Jack barely left the mare's side, feeding her warm mash and wrapping her in blankets. He named her Ghost for the way she appeared out of the swirling snow. Slowly, Ghost regained her strength. She nuzzled his hand, a silent thank you. The bond, forged in the blizzard, was undeniable. He knew he couldn't let her go. She would have a home at his ranch. Yet the satchel's contents weighed heavily on his mind. He was about to make a call that would change everything. Section 6. Unraveling the Enigma. The call went to Sheriff Tom Parker, an old friend from his firefighting days. Tom, initially skeptical of Jack's story, arrived at the ranch with a mixture of amusement and concern etched on his weathered face. However, his skepticism vanished the moment he laid eyes on the contents of the satchel. The old currency, the maps marked with coded symbols, and the aged documents all pointed towards a mystery that was far bigger than they could have imagined. Tom immediately contacted his contacts in the state capital, and soon a team of experts arrived in Aspen Ridge. Historians, cryptographers, and even a retired CIA agent, all gathered in Jack's cozy living room, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of the fireplace. Days turned into weeks as the team worked tirelessly, meticulously analyzing every piece of evidence. The old documents, they discovered, were indeed linked to a covert operation from the Cold War era. The maps pointed to a series of dead drops and safe houses used by spies operating on American soil. The currency, a mix of American dollars and Soviet rubles, hinted at a complex web of intrigue and betrayal. Section 7. Ghost's New Dawn. As the investigation unfolded, life at the ranch settled into a new rhythm. Ghost, fully recovered from her ordeal, thrived under Jack's care. She had the run of the ranch, her coat gleaming in the Colorado sunshine. She followed Jack everywhere, her head nudging his arm as if to remind him of their shared adventure. Gus, initially wary of the new addition to the family, had warmed up to Ghost, and the two were often seen playing together in the snow. The authorities, impressed by the bond between man and horse, agreed that Ghost should remain with Jack. The story of their rescue and the discovery of the Cold War secrets became local legend. Reporters flocked to the ranch, eager for an interview with the accidental historian and his remarkable horse. But Jack, uncomfortable with the attention, politely declined their requests. He wasn't in it for the fame. He was just a man who loved animals and had stumbled upon an extraordinary secret. Section 8. Echoes of a Bygone Era. The investigation into the Cold War secrets continued. The team of experts, led by the sharp-minded and tenacious Dr. Emily Carter, a historian specializing in Cold War espionage, were determined to uncover the truth. They followed every lead, deciphered every code, and slowly but surely a story of daring missions, double agents, and long-forgotten secrets began to unfold. They discovered that Ghost's previous owner, a reclusive rancher who had recently passed away, was connected to the operation. He was a former military intelligence officer who had played a pivotal role in turning the tide of the Cold War. The satchel, entrusted to him for safekeeping, contained vital information that could have rewritten history had it fallen into the wrong hands. The investigation made headlines across the country, reminding everyone of a time when the world teetered on the brink of nuclear war. It was a time of secrets and shadows, of heroes and villains, and the story of Ghost and the Cold War satchel brought it all back to life. Section 9. A Bond Forged in Ice and Time. Life in Aspen Ridge eventually returned to normal, or as close to normal as it could be after such an extraordinary event. The snow melted, giving way to lush green pastures. Wildflowers dotted the landscape, their vibrant colours a stark contrast to the white blanket that had enveloped the mountains just months earlier. Jack continued his daily routine, tending to his ranch with Ghost always by his side. The bond between them, forged in the heart of a blizzard, had only grown stronger with time. He would often find himself lost in thought, his gaze fixed on Ghost as she grazed peacefully in the meadow. He thought about the secrets she had carried, the dangers she had faced, and the history she had inadvertently brought back to life. She was a living reminder of a time gone by, a silent witness to events that had shaped the world as they knew it. And in saving her, He had stumbled upon a hidden chapter of history, a chapter that would forever be etched in his memory.